growing up, in the summers we got to topsail, being a kid, and I loved telling people, hell, I'm Grandpa Deepy's grandson. If I was at the putt putt, I was Grandpa Deepy's grandson. If I was at Jiffy Bridge, I was Grandpa Deepy's grandson, or on the pier. And there was a swagger that went with that because Grandpa was such a respected, proud man. And I feel very proud to be standing here saying a few words. My cousin Tony put this post the other day, which I think is very fitting. Our grandfather, loyal husband, loving father, Italian immigrant, war hero, fire chief, fishing legend, and all-around American badass. And Grandpa was, and really lived the American dream. One of the fond memories I have of Grandpa going out, we come down for the week at the beach, and then one day I'd get to go out and go fishing with Grandpa. So we'd wake up early, and he went through that ritual. His same ritual, getting his buggy packed and his green bucket, and all of his he'd walk into the pier, he'd put his bucket and his fishing pole around the left. He'd never carry that through the pier house or whatnot. And so I was 8 years old, and he was going to teach me how to fish. So I'm out there, and I got the jig rod in, and I didn't have much experience, no experience fishing. And I put the jig in the water, and I wait there for about 30 seconds. I'm like, okay, Grandpa, how am I going to know this fish is going to get here? He's like, you'll know, and he just laughed. So we sat out there all day, and sure enough, boom, I get a bite. And I'm so excited, and I reel in the 3.5-pound pompano, and I mean, it was like, yes, I got this fish, and I was so proud, and he made me feel great about it, of course. And towards the end of the day, I'm just like, walking real proud and standing a little bit taller, and he's like, well, I don't know if we need to really keep this, fish that's this big, and I'm like, the hell we don't. It's my first fish. And kept it, we did. Actually, that fish lived in my parents' freezer for 3.5 years. There wasn't a person that came by my house that didn't see that fish. Want to see my fish? 3 years later, things all freezer burned and whatnot. Grandpa was my hero. The Webster's Dictionary defines a hero, a person who, in the opinion of others, has special achievements, abilities, or personal qualities, and is regarded as a role model. And Grandpa's personal qualities touched us all. I'm sure each and every one of us in this room at one point or another viewed Grandpa as a hero. And Grandpa was a hero, a real war hero that saved people's lives, and was a real hero in the sense of being a firefighter and how many people he helped in that regard. But he was just an everyday hero, and just being a good person, having a good impact, and really led with, silence and a regard. He just carried himself so well, and that was something so special about Grandpa, and I think about his legacy as it lives on. And I would challenge each and every one of us: who can we be a hero to? Because I know Grandpa would be, proud of that. Who can we reach in our community? It doesn't have to be saving a cat from a tree, but there's opportunities that come up, day in and day out. And I know, Grandpa will feel, great about that. Now, my cousin Angelo, DePaola, is going to come up here. One of the legacies I hope to live on. And, with my son Brady, and we've got another one on the way, is when they learn how to fish, I'm going to have the next Angelo DePaola teach them. My cousin Angelo paid a little more attention to fishing than I did. But Angelo, come up here and sit. Let's send off Grandpa. Thank you, guys.
Brady knows I'm a crier, so I brought some tissue up there. So, try to get through this. Run, you dog, run. I eat his eyeballs if you catch them. This is one I heard yesterday. There ain't no justice in fishing. A few deepyisms there. Probably a few more I ain't heard. Maybe y'all can expound on to me. We're going through. Everybody was telling their Deepy story. Your fond memory of Deepy, and everybody seemed to have one, and I couldn't really recall one. And I thought it was weird because out of all the grandchildren, I probably spent the most time with them, at least out on that pier. And I started thinking back about the one that really stuck out in my head. It's just me catching a damn old king mackerel. And I thought, hell, everybody, half the people in this room probably has that same story. But when I reflect back in how I try to live my life, and one of the things that I thought was remarkable about Deep was he was a reluctant leader. He was selfless. He made you smile without trying. He made you feel good without having to try. He always did the right thing. And even to this day, when those crossroads come and I have an opportunity to maybe put personal gain into my side or personal gain to somebody else I'm dealing with, I always try to live by those values. This to me is the legacy that Deep brought to me. I mean, you learn a lot about fishing on that pier, but you learned a lot about life. And, you know, Rob, honorary member of the family, but Deep had a pier family, and how they might know more about Deep than some of us do. They were out there with them for hours on end. Boredom can expound stories and ideas, and some ideas get put into play and become a way you fish, and that's kind of what's happened on the Jolly Roger Pier. Is there's a way you fish out there, and I think that's part of Deep's legacy as well. Is, you know, I was out there yesterday and I was talking to some guys, and they were telling me how different people fish on different piers, but you go out on the Jolly Roger and you throw your anchor line out and you slide your clothespin down it. You don't stick your anchor line up in the air. Deep would come out and quickly check you on that. Anyways, you know, I know that today we're going to do some crying, and we'll do some laughing. And coach down the way, and he said if you do both those things in a day, you've had a pretty damn good day. And I look forward to hearing your stories. I look forward to crying with you, and I look forward to laughing with you.
I took down some notes, but pretty much the previous speakers have covered most of what I had to say, and so I'm going to do the best I can. And anyway, during the viewing today, I talked to many of you, and I think what we're hearing up here today at the podium is just really the tip of the iceberg of the influence that Daddy had in so many different communities. He was a beacon of light on the battlefields of Okinawa, and at the fire department in Camp Lejeune with his innovation and modernization, and certainly on the end of the fishing pier where, you know, I spent the most time with him and everything. And it's weird, you grew up in the same household, and my sister Vivian thought he should be president, and I thought we were just a regular, you know, father and everything that, you know, we grew up in Jacksonville, and most of the neighbors, their parents were Marines or ex-Marines and everything, and fought World War II, and Dad didn't really brag about anything, you know, and a lot of his war stories, as Wade mentioned, were delayed until, you know, pretty much their children were grown and everything, and he started going back to reunions. But, you know, as I've spent probably more time with him, you know, helping my sisters take care of him in the last year or two, probably than my entire adult life, I've really got some of that wisdom. I'm starting to get it a little bit more. Yeah, and breaking my neck about a week ago was the one thing that kind of opened up my eyes. I probably didn't have enough compassion for what he's been suffering through. He was a very proud man, and as he lost his abilities to drive and fish and things like that, very hard to keep your head high and everything and sustain that. And maybe this is my gift to get some of that character back. Yeah, I could go on with stories and everything, but I think, you know, that's been well covered. And, you know, in life there's kind of two resumes. There's two virtues, your resume virtues, you know, what you've done, and then your eulogy virtues. And, you know, these speak more to your character. And most of us, including myself, have probably spent way too much time, you know, worrying about, you know, our accomplishments and everything. And over the last few weeks, it was pretty clear that he was going to not be with us much longer. So I said, you know, Dad, you know, what are you most proud of what you've done? I said, you know, you've caught big fish, you know, you've extinguished, you know, some of the most spectacular fires in history. You know, you fought to save the world from tyranny. He goes, hold up there. He says,
That's exactly.
you know, I was an immigrant. And, you know, we came to this country, you know, from Italy, and we didn't have much. And as soon as we got here, the Depression hit, and his dad had put all the family's money in the Bank of Italy, and when it crashed, they lost every cent. And it was a horrible, horrible, you know, time for them. And it was the reason he shined shoes and delivered papers. I delivered papers, so I'd have spending money. You know, that went right back into the family to make them live. And so I said, well, what about fishing? He says, well, when I, you know, was a kid, you know, I went up the Passaic River in New Jersey and caught fish there, so we'd have food to eat. Now I compare that from my childhood. Everything was provided for me, all the way through a college education and everything. So the kind of struggles that they had to do in that great generation there and everything, you know, the self-sacrifice and self-restraint and things like that, and those were the values of the day. And you know, with each succeeding generation, we're more, you know, concerned about material wealth and fame and things like that. And I raised my hand if I could. But, you know, and the other thing that kind of dawned on me, you know, really just in the last week is that, you know, he was the patriarch of the family, and now he's handed over the reins to me. I know everybody's kind of sweating that. Once again, I got to throw the neck here. But, you know, hopefully those happy hours on the porch with him and everything, and just listening to all the respect people, you know, from all those communities, the Camp Lejeune firefighting community, dozens of people from the pier. He's probably responsible for killing more fish than anybody on earth. But he always respected the fish, and he always taught the people to respect each other. And so maybe with a little bit of hardship here and everything, I can kind of get my character together and be more like the man he was and everything. Unfortunately, I think if, you know, God were to give me 95 more years, I still fall very short of where he was. He was a man for the people. And anyway, I won't go on, but you know, one day I'll probably be joining him and my mom in that big fishing pier in the sky and everything. So thank you very much for all your kind words and your attendance today. God bless DP.
We're always helping our little brother. The new patriarch.